Welcome, everybody. I hope you can hear me.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Champaign County Master Gardeners, the good, the bad, and the bloomful. A couple things I want to say before Ann starts. Please remember to keep your computer muted. And then also, if you have any questions for Ann, put it in the chat box, and then she can go through those after she gets done speaking. And the other thing is yesterday, Valerie Nicolini sent a reminder email, and on that email was two attachments that are going to be the items that Ann will be talking about today. So Ann Tice has been a Master Gardener since 2000. She is an advanced Master Gardener, won several Master Gardener awards, won Chicago Tribune Glorious Garden Award twice for her Champaign garden, and a National Scots Walmart Award. She enjoys writing garden articles, lectures, and sheer joy of gardening and genealogy. Like she says, it's all a family tree. I would like to introduce you to Ann Tice.
Well, hello, everyone. I hope you're having a good day and can think about spring because a lot of this talk is about annuals coming out for this next year, our year now, 2026, and also the last few years. So I'll just go off and start. The good, the quote, bad, and the bloomable. This will cover our top winners at our trial gardens, plus a lot of the other gardens around. And gardeners are optimistic. They look forward to the spring. I certainly am, and the rabbits do too. But what I'll be doing is telling you first about proven winter plants, the ones that we trialed at the University of Illinois Master Gardener, the Idea Garden area. We've been trialing plants for 24 years now. But I thought it'd be fair to share other companies. And that information, how I selected the ones I'm going to be talking to you about, is that most were because of the ratings with multiple online and greenhouse reviews and professional reviews of the top plants, also including Penn State ratings and the American or the All American selections known as AAS. And I put that in the handout and also on the slides. I'm also including some that caught my eye as being unusual or doing particularly well when I visited a number of trial sites this summer in the 90-degree heat. And I'm mentioning some of the national, and were mentioned in some of the national reviews. So it's from the national reviews, stuff I saw I liked that were also in the national reviews. So let's get started. The gardener's joy in the spring. We can't wait to see the new plants in the catalog. This garden gate came out of 2026 best new plants for sun and shade. And I'm hoping I'll let you know about a few of them. So which ones to get and what's new this year? That can be hard to figure out. And I'm only talking about annuals now, although a lot of these annuals can grow all year in the warmer climates. You can pick out the new ones by looking at what the results of our Idea Garden in Urbana, Illinois plant trial testing was. And from visiting trial gardens, I went to quite a few of these, and this one twice because it was so good. Or you can consult the sources online and also the ones I've listed in my handout. The handout is huge. There's all sorts of information there. So if I forget something, you could read about it, or if you want to go back and check it later, most all the information is there. Now, what are trial gardens? They are different than the home garden or display gardens. So display gardens are to educate, inspire, demonstrate horticultural possibilities, and they're just gorgeous to look at. This is 4-star of one of Proven Winners areas where they grow plants for them. They have two areas. This one is in Carlton, Michigan, and the other is where we get our trial plants from, which is in New Hampshire. The home gardener grows for their own enjoyment. You grow what you want and also how you want it to grow. But trial gardens are a little different. We test, evaluate, compare plants during the growing season, provide information for growers, nurseries, and gardeners. Most trial gardens do give ratings, and often they're just one kind of plant. In other words, just annuals or just perennials. A few have a mix of both, but mostly these trial gardens are annuals. Here's an example of Raker Roberta young plants. And for a while, I thought maybe their last name was Young. No, it's not. It's because they grow young plants, and I got that straightened out. But here are the greenhouses where they grow things from tissue culture and cuttings and seeds and then send them out across the country. So they have this big demonstration garden. These are on the outside are all hanging baskets, and each of them is run with a drip system. There is a whole bunch of containers they grow. These are the raised linear beds of different plants, including shade areas. And then there's a whole strip along this side, which different companies, they work with over 25 companies, and the different companies will pay to have those and design it themselves. Now, most of trial beds or trial areas are different than, say, the designs that we have in the Idea Garden. They truly are mostly containers and these hanging baskets or pots, and a lot of them. You can see the little drip irrigation here because this would be a lot for a couple people just to water on a routine basis. And the other thing that's different is they're monocultures, meaning they only have one kind of plant in each basket, and it's a sea of it. There's me back there, and then a whole bunch more of their trials and baskets up here. So monocultures, one kind of plant per pot. Because if you make combinations and try to judge the plants, if you have a big, vigorous plant, like say Petunia Vista bubblegum, it will eat little plants, and you can't tell how they're doing. 4-star Proven Winners Display Garden, it doesn't rate things, but it shows you all the new plants they're coming out with this year for 2026 on one side. And then on the other side, they combine them with other plants. So here is Lobelia Laguna Royale Lilac. We did try that this year, and here it is in a monoculture, but then they put it in a combination. And there's the last little squeak of it showing through right here. It's being overpowered by other plants. If this was in one of our 11 containers at the Idea Garden, there's no way we could fairly judge that plant because it's swamped by the other ones. So monocultures are important, even though they can look boring sometimes. However, not all combinations will be a problem. A few companies will design kits or design combos with the key. They all have the same vigor. This is a bunch of beautiful Calibrachoa, and they look fabulous together mixed in one pot. And over here are some very vigorous plants, coleus, the ever vigorous sweet potato, and sunflowers. And putting all three of those vigorous plants together works well because there's not one overwhelming the other. If they plant, if the trial gardens plant landscape plants, they usually will plant them in squares or lines, all lined up. And that's pretty nifty because then you can tell the difference between one kind of impatient or begonia and another and which one looks better. Trial designs, they also used raised beds. And here's an example of some of the linear planted plants, and they are raised. You just can't see it under all of these because they're blooming so nicely. And they leave their dead plants in the ground. This happens to be a perennial trial, and I don't think I want to buy all of these asters right here. But in a regular annual trial gardens, they do leave the dead ones there or the ones that are struggling so that you can rate them fairly and also see the difference between these plants and maybe ones that are doing better. Watering and fertilizing is different in large trial areas. This place has an irrigation system running down all of these long lines, and you can see it over here, feeding everything. And they also put a certain specific measured amount of fertilizer in it. And some of them, they get daily fertilizer, but at a low rate. So everything's built in, automatic, and it's impressive to see these places. Here's the drip lines in the baskets, and they also get fertilizer regularly. And the hanging baskets, they run a drip line up over and into the pot. So all of these hanging baskets are watered and fertilized daily if needed. But this is a great example. Like that plant stopped me in my tracks, and we will be talking about what it is. And by the way, this is one that one of the places generously offered to send us some for this year. Watering and fertilizing is different. No, they don't have one of these, but we have one of these. One of our top star master gardeners, Phyllis Russell, is what? Phyllis Williams. I'm sorry. Phyllis Williams is watering with by hand, and we do that in a lot of areas around our Ardea garden. So the volunteers spend a lot of time with that. And we do have an irrigation system in and around the shed area, which is the main area we grow our trial plants. That has been very helpful, but every once in a while it has a glitch and then we've got to fiddle with it. And I also try not to design plants that can have to be on the dry side right in front of those irrigation heads. Here's the background of our trial gardens in Urbana. It was started in 2001 by Sandy Mason and myself, and she was an extension coordinator then. But we started doing advanced ratings in 2006 and giving ratings to the plants every month. We are the only master gardener or volunteer garden in all of the proven winner trial sites. There used to be 47, and now it's down to 27. Part of the reason we kept in it is we give detailed monthly evaluations with comments. A couple of years ago, I added a column saying, would you buy? And I asked the people that are evaluating the trial plants to say, would you buy this plant next year? Yes or no? And if so, why? And if not, why? And maybe they just don't like red plants. But it could be that it wasn't blooming enough, or they just didn't feel like they wanted it. So the company loved that. We got some changeover of the company Proven Winners personnel, and they thought that was a great idea. We also added another column, or if pollinators are seen on the plant. And if you see this little icon in the upcoming plants, that means that they're pollinator friendly if you want to make a note on your handout. At the end of the season, the main ratings are averaged and medals are awarded, write-ups are done, info sent to the company, local nurseries. And again, it's taken care of by a wonderful group of volunteers. And I thank you so much. How do we rate it? Each month we give it an overall rating from 1 to 5. We give it a percentage of bloom coverage. That's the amount of flowers that are covering the plant, if it's a flowering plant. And we also write down the percent of disease or pests we've seen. And again, write extensive comments. Now, in that overall rating of 1 to 5, it includes things like vigor on a 1 to 4 scale. So this is obviously a vigor of 1 plant, and that one is maximum vigor. But in addition, we consider what the foliage looking like. Is the plant uniform? Does it have flower power? Or is it have a wow factor? You walk up and go, wow. And we also put in that overall 1 to 5 rating survival, but sometimes they do die. Here's some examples. These are past gold medal winners. A Heliotropium aromagic purple is here early season. It's got clean, deep green pleated leaves, and later season, it's just filled with blooms that are huge, beautiful, fragrant, and that little bee is loving it. Another good one was this one, Coleus Color Blaze Pineapple Brandy. And I will tell you that Proven Winners Coleus have been fabulous for years. They do shade or sun. Most of them are big, tall, are very uniform, and oh, they're gorgeous colors. Other examples we've had in the past, look at this one. It's a Biden's Campfire Marshmallow. It's big, uniform, rounded, tidy, filled with blooms, and a healthy, gorgeous plant, as is Petunia Supertunia Mini Vista Yellow. The Mini Vista petunias they have are excellent, and it just floods over this area. And in this container, it flooded over everything else. We got a couple pink plants popping through, but it is a very vigorous plant and really a healthy one. Our Ardea garden trials, a little bit about them. Us versus them. Okay, I had AI help me make a bunch of slides, and AI decided we needed more pots. So it decided to put that in there, drew that in. But this is just to show you, we are a small area. We do the best we can. Our Ardea garden, only it has limited space, limited containers, only 11, and you need big containers to trial some of the plants that are bred for containers, or they just are not able to keep up with other plants in the landscape. We also try to design our trial areas to be attractive. We need to plant enough for a fair trial. You can't do no perennials background or backbone plants. And they're often roundy moundy. So we're always grateful. These are all roundy moundy. We're often grateful if we get a tall upright plant. And our main thing is to educate the public. Our trial areas are small but mighty with great volunteers. Thank you to all of you here and also everyone else that's volunteered. So here it is, the Idea Garden in Urbana, Illinois. This is a plant we'll see in a bit. It was a medal winner, and it's called Didelta Silver River. It's in one of the two pots that we have up front. But we also have 4 areas around our little shed. The East Trials area, South Trials area, full sun, West Trials, and a little bit more of the shade plants go in the north part of the shed. This is our hard at work evaluating Master Gardener volunteers. They all got clipboards and they're giving ratings to the plants in front of them. This is the South Trials I just showed you a few years ago. The design changes over the year. And this is West Trials. We were happy we got some sunflowers because they were a good tall plant. This was this year. We had a whole bunch of begonias to try out. They were spectacular on the shady north area. And this is the East Trials area. We did a lot of oranges and lime and reds in that. We start with a blank slate, as I mentioned, each year. So here it is, well into the season and looking good. But we rate like the best. I do believe Penn State is one of the best areas for reference. They rate things about every month, just like we do. And this was one of our favorites in the past, Supertunia Vista Jazzberry. It's gorgeous, and it rated 5 all months they checked it out. Now, on to the what is going on and what were the very good proven winner plans. Yeah. Anyway, if you need to look any of these up, I did include in your handout a link to the proven winner site. Well, the gold medal winners, all of the Surefire begonias were great, and they won. Not that basket or in the pot as shown here. But as you just saw, it looked great in the ground too. And it has that bright red flowers with glossy green leaves. And it certainly was a gold medal winner. This was the Didelta I just mentioned, an interesting foliage plant, which is a good filler for pots. It has the silver, fuzzy leaves that are really interesting and looks fabulous with purple plants, but also with pink. Here it is in a monoculture at one of the trial areas, which is one of the reasons I started going to trial areas. I wanted to see how our proven winter plants were doing at other areas, and that's how I started years ago. But we didn't ever see that it has blooms on it. It's a semi-succulent, and the blooms are kind of interesting, but some of the old ones look not so great, and I would have wanted to deadhead them. Also, Petunia Supertunia Vista Cool Jazz. That's coming out this year, 2026. It is a huge, big, gorgeous plant of lavender. And it covers the entire pot and will swarm up and over in the landscape too. It is really, really lovely. It's a sister to the Jazzberry I mentioned. Another one that was a gold medal winner was Supertunia Mini Vista Pink. This was in the afternoon and the sun was shining on it, and it has a morphing pink color here. This is the way it mostly looks, a light pink with crimped pie crust print edges and a white eye. Really quite lovely with lobularia that kind of filters in around it. But it was absolutely adorable and tough and vigorous at the same time. Here it is in the landscape. It like these mini vistas, and the vistas they cover the landscape. Gorgeous. Well, very well. And in a pot, I would take that too. It looked wonderful. How about some of the silver winners that we had this year? Well, one of the Bidens made it, the Campfire Red Ember, and Red Ember it is. It's a fiery looking thing with red-orange blooms that have a yellow center. It's not as tall and round as the Campfire Marshmallow, but it still was a great plant. Now, this is planted in a drier area, not one that gets direct watering on it all the time. So it likes to dry down in between waterings, but it was a great plant. And I think a little better than some of the yellow ones we've tried. Lobularia white knight is a cousin of alyssum, but these things are sterile. So they stay in bloom all season in the summer in the northern climates. And it is a cousin of snow princess. Now, snow princess, one plant will get over a yard wide. This one is bred to get a little bit more compact. And here it is in the front of west border. It held its own quite well, and it has these pretty little flowers. In a monoculture, it was delightful, as it would be in combinations too. And it even is a tough little guy for the landscape use too. It's smaller, but it laughs at the heat, is what one of the reviewers said. And that's pretty good. How about our bronze medal winners? Well, we do have a few of those. And one is this absolutely delightful little Calibrachoa. It is a kaleidoscope of gorgeous colors of double rosette flowers, yellow to oranges to pinks, and it looks magnificent combined in containers. It is a plant that should only be planted in containers. Calibrachoas do not like alkaline soil. We do have alkaline soil in Urbana, Illinois, but even that, even in other areas, it is bred to be a container plant. So it's the 6 to 12 inches. And if you put it in pots, it forms a delightful rim of joy around the outside edge. So I used to not be so delighted with Calibrachoa. I am now. I like this one. And here it is in the pot. It's absolutely stunning in a monoculture. Enithera superfluous sunglow. The name is new only. It's not really a new plant. It has been out before, known as Calilophus ladybird sunglow, as it hails from the great state of Texas. And the genus was reclassified some. But this baby, you do want to put in a drier area. It is drought tolerant. It's a pretty little thing. It has fine, frilly foliage and quite lovely yellow color of its bloom, but it will hold on to some of its old blooms. And you can see that here a little bit. It still does not detract from the plant. Proven winners, one of the staff people there used to say that their plants bury their dead. In other words, new blooms come up to cover the top of the plant, so you don't see the old brownish blooms as much. I might not say that with this, but still, it was a great plant, and it looked great in pots also. One comment I would make is that you probably need to plant more than one in a combo plant, particularly if you're planting a salvia and these vigorous petunias. I planted one in a pot, and it got swarmed by the others, but it is a great little thing. Now, on your handout, I have a couple paragraphs or about a page of the average plants from proven winners that are coming out this year with comments, and also the ones that got poor evaluations. I'm not going to cover those in the lecture, but I am going to mention this. This is a new version of Supertunia Bordeaux. It's Bordeaux 2. Here is the old one. I've always liked it. I've always had it in combination pots, but here is the new one. And we get to trial that this year. So we can all judge if it's great in the ground this year. It has a lot more blooms. They're larger, fill the space better, and it has more of a lavender edge. This has a little bit more of a white lavender edge. So that's up and coming. In summary, Proven Winners is an excellent company. They have bred plants for color, strength, and most importantly, garden success. They try to make it easier for gardeners. And based on 25 years of trialing these, I think their coleus are awesome. They're color blazed coleus, and they do sun or shade, and because they were originally developed in Florida. Also, I like their petunias and I love their salvia. But to be fair, and we don't push one company over the other, being a master gardeners, I wanted to show new annuals from other companies. So instead of just looking at proven winners when I was out and about at these trial gardens, I thought, well, let's see what other companies are offering. I visited many sites. This was Massed Young Plants with Wizard Brian Weezy's. Brian Weezy is the general manager of all the trial areas, and this isn't all of it. It goes way down the hill and over the lower level too. But he very generously offered to send us some Petcoas this year. And I'm excited about getting 4 kinds of those this spring so we could try those out too. He also is a font of excellent garden information, and I will be saying some things that he told me as we go through this. There are so many plants in so little time. This is Raker Roberta's. We went back there twice over the summer just because there were so many plants to look at. I took over 3,000 photos of the various trial areas, and I did miss some. I did miss a few. So the photos, if the photos are not mine or not the AI generated ones I made, then they are labeled as to what company I got them from. Please see the sources at the end of the handout. And I did pre-select some of these. I did not pick the flowers that are only good in the spring and they can't take the heat in the summer. So pansies I do love, but no pansies allowed in the list I have. Mostly the list of plants I got was because of multiple online ratings and ratings from the trial areas I went to, plants that were in their top 15 or their top 5. Also from checking out All American Selections and Penn State's rating of all the top plants. So those were included, but I also put in some that caught my eye that seemed unusual or doing particularly well when I saw them in the ground. And they were also mentioned in some national reviews. So that's how I picked out this list. Believe me, there were a lot more I couldn't possibly put in here. Gardeners want stalwart plants, that they want them strong and beautiful, but we prefer to have them be easy care and maybe not fertilize them. So in visiting other trials, these are what I consider the stalwart plants. Begonias and coleus, oh my gosh, the coleus are gorgeous. Impatiens, particularly the sun patience compact. Marigolds are wonderful for gardeners. Petunias, vincas, and zinnias. Oh my, yes, there's lots of plants, but there's some other ones I'll mention too. And I also will let you know that over the years, I think the Impatiens, Sun Patience Compact are excellent. Vinca Cora XDR, extra disease resistant. And there's a new one, Nirvana, Vinca Nirvana XDR, that showed up to look quite nice. And the zinnias in the past, the series I've really liked that were great were Profusion, Zahara, and Zesty. But we'll see a new one. So many plants, so little time to go over them all. So this is a whirlwind tour of wonderful annuals, or see it, love it, look it up later because my handouts contain the links to every one of these. Angelonia, Guardian Angel Pink. That was a great plant. It's actually bred to be huge. Certainly is, towering over this one. And the flowers are much bigger too. So the bees go nuts for it. It's supposed to be 30% taller and more vigorous than the rest. It has glossy green leaves. It thrives in high heat and humidity, which is different from a lot of Angelonias. A lot of Angelonias will kind of rest and not put up many blooms in the heat of July and August. This was in the 90s when we visited here in August, and it looked great. These are also deer and rabbit resistance, which tickles me because I have both. This is the thing in this poor little pot. So it is a big, strong, wonderful plant, just shooting out big stalks all over. And I really like that one, Guardian Angel Pink. This was a sweetheart of many online reviews, and I agree. Begonia Eye Candy Sunset. The Eye Candy is a new series, and this one does look like a sunset. The flowers are double, and they have yellow to the orange and ochre colors in it, set off by what one place called chocolate leaves. So that one I would love to try. It does need some full shade to part sun. It's not one of these begonias that'll do well in full sun. But it was rated 5 at Penn State all year long. Other one in the eye candy series is lemon yellow. I like it, but it doesn't have as much oomph as the sunset one, and I would buy the sunset. Anyway, but a lot of places like the sunset especially. Now, other good begonias I'm not covering, but other series to look at. And these are big like the Surefires. They're not as compact as this. Is a series called Big, B-I-G, and that's capitalized. Also, the Begonia Viking series. Uh, and Brian Weezy's pointed out to me when we looked at that gorgeous Begonia Canary Wing, that's been out for years. It's got chartreuse leaves and it's stunning, but he says it has to be in the shade because you get the best chartreuse or it leaches out. So those are a couple pearls from Brian. This one stopped me in my tracks. There were a few plants that did that, so I'm putting it in. Begonia Dream Gardens Macaraz. It also was mentioned in some other places too, but it's stuffed with these interesting looking blooms, just absolutely tidy, uniform, and tons of blooms. It blooms all summer, has a tidy habit and dark green foliage. So Macaraz has pizzazz. New Bidens. There is a German company now, Kienzler, that is making a whole bunch of new Bidens, and they have a number like Mini B here. But these are the two I'm going to talk about: B Pink Buzz and B Superstar. They both like sun, and they're kind of a uniform spreading. But the pink one, the pink bee, is a breakthrough of rose pink color, departing from the usual orange or yellow colors. It's a unique color of magenta pink and has medium vigor. It certainly does attract bees, as the name is. And this is Superstar by the same company. It has two-tone bright yellow and bright orange tips. There's a bunch of other ones. And by the way, it's hard to know if these are 2026 plants, if they're going to be in your local nursery, because they exhibit the plants over the summer. People write articles about them, and then the local greenhouses or growers or nursery folk near you may decide to pick up on them to sell or maybe not. So you don't know if you'll find it in your nursery or not. But I hope some of these will be out and close to me. Bractietta. This made a whole bunch of articles. It's strawflower. This one's called Sombrero Orange. It's a great series, and this is the Sombrero Yellow, but that was the favorite, was the orange one. It can be cut for dried flowers. It's great in cut flower arrangements. Deer and rabbits do not want to munch these. Hooray. And the orange received a perfect 5 rating all season long from Penn State. So that's good enough for me. It was best of show in mass young plants. So I really like the orange. This is the second one that stopped me in my tracks. I thought, oh my goodness, look at the flowers on this canna. This is the Canova series, and we tried Canova plants a number of years ago in our own trial program. They can be started from seed, and they will bloom the first year. But the Canovas are shorter cannas. They're usually about 3, maybe 4 feet, with great foliage and really nice blooms. This particular one it has an extended bloom and is a nonstop bloomer from spring to fall. I love those, the bright yellow with the golden or the orange spots in them, just like an orange leopard. It was one of the top plants. This is the third plant that stopped me in my tracks. I had looked out over a sea of monoculture pots of all kinds of beautiful flowers, but this one I just stopped and had to check it out. It's Celosia Flama Orange. Now, yes, it's been out for a couple years, and it's an AAS winner for 2022. But I'm really trying to get our children's garden area in the Idea Garden to grow this. You can grow it from seed. It gets 16 to 18 inches tall, and it has these amazing 5-inch plumes on the top. It's great for fresh and dried flowers, and it was the loved plant at Mass Young, so it was in their top 12. The Flama series has very compact branching, so they're full and healthy looking. And a lot of the judges love this. And this one, another Flame Up Pink this time. It's a 2025 AAS winner and a 2025 Fluoro Select winner, another organization that rates them. I didn't get to see this one where I went, but I would be willing to buy that too. And it does grow from seed also, made by Cicada Seed. Coleus. There's an awful lot to go over with coleus. Here are all the coleus in the sun, and they tried to plant the same thing in the shade if it was a sun-shade mix. This one was rated high and was even mentioned in Garden Gate magazines as a winner for 2026. It is shade to part sun, magenta and burgundy, and it's a bit brighter in the shade than here. But a lot of people liked it. Folks at Mass Young liked it also. This is what struck my eyes, the next three coleus I really liked. And yes, they were, not all of them were in every article I read, but they were mentioned in a few. Coleus Main Street. Main Street is a series by Druman Orange, and these guys are about 12 to 24 inches tall and 12 inches wide. But what I really liked in sun or part shade, what I really liked is this lime color with the black burgundy edges and all the frilly scalloping on it. And it was a knockout in the shade. So I thought it had an eye-catching, unique, sultry glow. That's my words for it. But I would love to try this sometime. Another company I wasn't aware of, Garden Genetics, has produced a number of coleus with the name Garden Fest Gardenscape. This is Bright Day. Now that's a lot to say if you want to order or try to tell somebody in nursery, I'd like Garden Fest Gardenscape Bright Day, please. Well, whoop, that's a long name. But it looks gorgeous in the shade and also very good in the sun. Maybe a little sun fading here, not quite as bright in the sun, but still a burst of color. And it was a thriller to look at. Here it is in the shade. It's awesome. It stands out against all the rest. And here it is in the sun, still standing out and still looking great. They made another one, Lemon Zest, similar to that, not as much burgundy in the middle, but again, very nice in the shade and good in the sun. And here they are in shade, a long row of them in the sun. So the Garden Fest Gardenscape, zesty, bright day things, I thought rated very well. This one made a lot of the write-ups. It's been out for a couple of years, a Colocasia, and it was a 2023 AAS winner. The big deal about this is Royal Hawaiian Waikiki. The big deal is that it will do full sun to part shade. It has the large glossy leaves of a lot of colocasias we looked at, but it has a bold center of white and pink. And some people describe this pink veining as being flamboyant pink veining in the center. It is hardy to zones 8 through 11B. It's grown from tissue culture. It takes quite a while for the growers to get it out on the market, but it's ideal for a patio pot or in the garden. And you can overwinter that by digging it up in the fall and overwintering it in a cool, dark place. The other tropical, there are quite a few tropicals here after all, is Cornerline Magic Star. This one is unique from a company called Plant Development Services, which I hadn't heard of. But Brian Weasley at Mass Young was very excited about this because it was not just a plain old burgundy cordyline. It has reddish streaks at the bottom and variegated leaves, and he says it makes a dazzling, compact, upright plant. Deer resistant, yay. It keeps its color year round, and you could pot it up and stick it in a pot in the winter and have it inside, or if you're in a tropical area, grow it outside. Here's the unique thing, and this was mentioned in a bunch of places. Craspedia solar pop. Now this is a funny little plant. It can be grown from seed like sun, about 26 inches high. It can be in the landscape or in pots, as I mentioned. And they're fuzzy golf ball looking gold flowers. They're called billy buttons or billy balls in Australia and New Zealand, where they're from, because billy there is a friendly, endearing term in Australia. You can dry the blooms and make it a good day mate by planting this in your garden. Incidentally, I have never seen so much lore about a plant until I read online about it. It is in the daisy family, but in the Aboriginal culture in Australia, it was used as a medicinal plant. It later symbolized vitality and energy and was a source of inspiration for artists. So evidently they've made paintings and sculptures of the belly buttons over there. And in the land down under, it now symbolizes good luck, good health, creativity, and inspiration. That's a lot for this plant. Quite a tribute. But I could see it planted in the garden with something like Coleus, the color blaze mini me watermelon, because that little smaller Coleus has a lot of orange, red, and yellow in it. Okay, on to more other interesting things. Curcuma Siam shadow. Well, this is a cousin in the general ginger family. It's a cousin of turmeric, and it's also known as Siam tulip or tulip ginger. The bees like it, and it's kind of fleshy leaves like a calla lily almost, with these bright pink cup-shaped flowers with burgundy tips. Well, it's deer and rabbit resistant, another big plus for it, and it's supposed to be super easy to grow. It's tropical and survives in zones 8 to 10 uh, because it was grown in a tropical environment, and it it blooms all summer. It's supposed to be good. They say that you could put it in a pot if you wanted to outside, and it dies down and goes dormant in the winter. So much like our tulips up north, where it blooms in the spring, grows in the summer, and then it's dormant. But you could keep this in a pot and store it in a dark place, or you could dig it up if you wanted to, and then store it with some peat moss or something in a dark place inside so it doesn't freeze. So it's a summer flowering, heat loving tropical. And I just thought it was fascinating. They have a white one, but I thought the pink one made more of a statement. I love this also. Dipladenia sun parasol, fired up coral, and many, many articles and the nurseries I visited are fired up about this one. The coral has got nifty looking flowers. They're more pinwheel shaped with orange and yellow in the center. And the dipladenias are often maybe mislabeled as mandavillas. Mandavillas are at least closely related. They're a vigorous climbing vine that needs support. It has larger leaves and flowers, while this Dipladenia, this sun parasol group, it's more of a bush-like plant. It does not need support, it does not need a trellis, and it was top plants listed in Garden Gate magazine and in Michigan Trial Plants. Brian Weezy says that if you do grow this, you can grow it in a pot. You should be able to grow it in the ground. But he mentions that you need to keep mites off. They use biological controls, but he says they get shipped up from Florida and they often have mites in them coming in. The Michigan State University ladies who critiqued a lot of the plants they saw said, use Dipladenia to get your patio or garden fired up with beauty. That's pretty nice. Here's another different plant, a good filler for combination pots. It's a semi-succulent Dorophianthus golden cascade. It makes a little green pot of joy if it's a multiple or a monoculture on it. It can have little tiny blooms, so therefore they call it baby sunrose sometimes. But Brian Weezy thought it placed nicely in a container. Whereas if you mix something like a sweet potato, it eats everything else. This sweet potato ate everything in the pot up here, and now it's going down to eat the pot below it. But he says this golden cascade is a wonderful filler, and I've seen it growing around in Florida too, as a ground cover almost. All right, next one, gomphrenias. These little magenta balls that blow in the wind, they are a great plant. And proven winners, Truffula Pink has always been a favorite, but I think we ought to consider Fireball Pink. It's a big, wide plant, or the Cosmic Flare is unusual. It's got chartreuse leaves. The deer and rabbits don't eat it, and it has both of them have eye-catching colors, strong branches, good blooming power, good heat performance, and you can cut them for arrangements or dry them. There's a close-up of them. Here's Cosmic Flare with the chartreuse leaves and Fireball Pink. They all have these little tiny firework yellow tips at the end, like most gomphrenas do. They are wide, though. They'll get up to 18 inches tall. And actually, the Cosmic Flare will get 20 to 24 inches wide. So give it room, and you could try it in the landscape. Sun patience. I'm going to take a break for water. Hold on. The sun patients, as mentioned, the compact ones are some of my favorites. Here they are here compared to regular New Guineas, and they are covered with blooms. The new ones out are Sun Patient Compact Royal Magenta Improved. Here it is as I saw it. This is a variegated version of the compact Sun Patient, not nearly as bloomerific as this one. But the magenta charmed a lot of other people too. It's unaffected by downy mildew. And they say they have shorter internodes, so they have exceptional branching for dense, bushy plants. Both of these that I'll show you, the magenta and the pink coming up, rated 5 all season with Penn State. This is the other one that's new. I did not see it in the ground, so I got this from Massed Young Plants. It's pink, compact pink flash. And I would assume that this is just as vigorous and covered with flowers as the rest of the Sun Patient compacts that I love. Lantanas. There is a lot to think about with lantanas, and there are a lot of plants to look at. Brian Weezy said that now he thinks the number one company is Syngenta with growing these or developing them. Number 2 is Ball, it's up and coming, and number 3 is Danziger. So overall in this picture, it's several lantanas. This is the Gem Topaz, which is by Danziger, and I'll go over that in a bit. This one is Shamrock Lavender. Both of these are Shamrock Lavender. This is another company's Vandalista Pink Lemonberry, and this is Shamrock Yellow. So Lemon Glow, Shamrock Lemon Glow, but we'll see them now. So here's Shamrock Lavender in a close-up of the blooms with this pinky lavender blooms with dots of accented yellow. And I think the great thing about these is, as opposed to some other lantanas we have trialed, is the blooms are above the plant. They're not hidden beneath the foliage. So they're up there and you can see them. Bright, healthy foliage. The flowers are scented. The bees love them. Pollinators think they're great. Butterflies too. Drought tolerant. And they have no problem with heat because after all, these are tropical plants and they do grow in Florida on their own, but they're a lot more rangy there. They kind of splay out. So, but these tend to be more compact, uniform, and tidy. The cousin of the Shamrock Lavender is Shamrock Lemon Glow. And yeah, the bees think this is just great when they found this one in the trial area. So a different color, but still is delightful. Here is another company. Let's see, the Vandalista is by Syngenta. Vandalista Pink Lemonberry, and it showed pretty well. Maybe not as many flowers covering it, but still an excellent plant. And many places online and in the trial gardens mentioned this as some of their top. It was tops in top 12, I believe, in Massed Youngs. And the last one is by Danziger. He said that was really getting to be a better company at making this. This is a lot more compact than the other ones. It's a tighter ball. It's only 10 to 12 inches tall, 12 to 14 wide, sun, of course. But this bold red-orange color impressed a lot of the judges. It's a heat lover also, and it keeps its bright colors in hot weather, which some of the plants don't always do that. So the lantanas are good through the 90s and the 80s, and they're a super plant. All-American Society All American Selections, actually, AAS picked this as one of their 2025 winners. And it is a French marigold that you can grow from seed. They thought it was great because of the very super saturated, ruffled blooms on it. And one of the MSU judges, Michigan State, said it was compact, vigorous, with uniform, abundant flowers, and the flower color was very eye-catching. I agree. And so did AAS. So it's a pretty marigold. Now, I did not expect this. I wasn't going to include any Nemesia because in our trials in the past, they really kind of stopped blooming about July and August, and that's a lot of our season, but they are gorgeous in the spring. Not so with this one. Nemesia Nessia Pink Crush. Look at that ball of pink. It's two-tone, roughly blooms, and it was delightful. It's made by Danziger Company, and they said its heat tolerance is higher than any other Nemesias on the market. Wow. And here it is being beautiful in mid-August at a 90-degree day. Danziger Company is from Israel. It's hot there, so they raise things that take the heat. So, and it's surprisingly nice all season. That was Brian Weezy's uh, comment on it. So, okay, I take it back. Maybe some of the Nemesia are fine the whole summer. So, swoon-worthy plants, petcoas. They actually came out in 2008 by Danziger, and other companies have followed. It appears that Cicada Company's supercals are one of the best. And here's what they are. They're a blend, a hybrid, between a petunia for the size and strength and strong roots, and a calabricoa with the glow and the color depth. So this is big and bold meets bright and magical, creating a petcoa. So from the petunia parent, it gets strong roots, larger flowers, trailing habit. From the calabricoa side, intense vibrant color, holds up under rain, heat, spring frost. The blooms are non-sticky, so the blooms fall off of it instead of sticking to it or to the label or whatever's around it. And you don't need to deadhead. Now, this is a picture below of a rain-spoiled petunia. When you check out the hybrid is less sensitive to high pH. It keeps its colors in high and low temps and even tolerates a light frost. I asked a couple of the growers of this what they thought about it for maybe being a landscape plant. Well, Brian said the petunia blood, which is 50%, makes them much better in the ground. They work in both containers and in-ground beds, assuming they get fertilizer in each situation. Well, we'll find out because we're getting 4 kinds of petcoa. Cicada, I emailed back and forth, and I guess in Europe, their plants are called beauty cows, not super cows. And the technical manager I talked with said, as for landscaping with super cows, we highly encourage this use for these plants. It's true, more basic soils, that's alkaline pH, can be troublesome for many of the solanaceous crops, but petcoas largely prove to be more resilient in these conditions than either the petunias or the calabricoas. But you'll need well-draining soil. So I'm very encouraged by that. I hope we can grow them in our landscape. Here's some examples of cicada, which I marvel at some of theirs. This is their, quote, regular supercals with magnificent colors. This is one we're getting this year. I'm pretty thrilled about that. And here's their supercal premium plants. The premiums have bigger blooms on them and some magical color combinations here. So it's overall pretty exciting. Here's at Mass Young. These are all petunias on this side, and these are all petcoas on this side. And they have big blooms, just like the petunias. This one is caramel yellow. Whoops, I went ahead. This is, I think, pink lavender. My screen is covering up that, and I can't remember. I think that's cinnamon. I'm not sure now. And I can't read the slide. Maybe you can. It's cut off for me. But this is another plant that stopped me in my tracks. Petcoa supercal blue-eyed rose. It's new and I loved it. The bees did too, and it has a bright fuchsia petal with a glowing blue eye, and it covered the whole pot. I was just stunned by that. And that's fortunately, one we get to try out. Another one that was absolutely excellent and mentioned a lot of places, I think in some of the magazines too, was Premium Coral Star. It seems to glow also and has this intense color. Here it is in a pot. And the last one that's new this year is Super Cal Premium Yellow Sun, but the improved version. If you look up Yellow Sun online, the ones out a year ago are kind of more of a dull orange with orange veining, but this looks to be a very clear yellow plant. And I talked to the Cicada Company guy about this too. He said, yes, it's a bright golden yellow with exceptional heat tolerance. It has more an improved habit and it's more mounded. Now, if you may or may not know it, but in the petunia world, yellow petunias are very hard to breed. They just aren't as strong, they aren't as healthy. So if you're looking for a bright yellow kind of replacement for a petunia, how about Petcoa, these Yellow Sun? It looked great. More swoon-worthy plants. This is going to be my new rating. I'll check off. Is this plant swoon-worthy? Yes or no? No, I'm kidding. But the new petunias are great. This one is called Petunia Deco Max Pink. It's by Syngenta. It will get 36 inches wide. It's obviously vigorous, and it's an outstanding flood of pink blooms. It's a 2025 AAS winner, and it, quote, dazzled the judges. They said it's fast, compact, spreading habit, featuring loads of beautiful pink flowers. Delicate yet vibrant pink, non-fading flowers literally cover the plant. I think we can see that here. Here it is up close. And this is in a raised bed. It's actually 3 blocks high. It's flowed over that raised bed out into the mulch and is gobbling up space, in addition to swarming this pot. But it's to be reckoned with. So there are some other Deco series. This is the Deco Blue and this is the Deco Banana, but the Deco Max Pink certainly is swarming it. It's lost in the flowers. It's not giving them a chance. This is the same plant, the Deco Pink in a pot. The pot extends here, but now it's flowed all the way down. So that's quite a statement. It looks like, oh, that'd be great for the landscape if it goes all over the place. This was a darling of many. Petunia Surefire Heavenly Cashmere Pink, Suntory. And the representative I talked to from Suntory said everyone fell in love with this Heavenly Cashmere Pink, even men. Now, that's probably saying a lot if men liked it also. She said it was such a great performer and still looked good for her in Cleveland heading into Thanksgiving. So that's lasting a long time. It does bloom all season and rain and wind and heat tolerant. It has light pink blooms with a lighter eye, and the blooms are kind of a crimped light pink. So another pretty and pink petunia, and I gave it a thumbs up also. AAS winner, another one. They put out the Petunia Shake Raspberry, and it was in a couple magazines also. The AAS judges said it's a raspberry milkshake blended with lemon lime green sorbet. Now, I know it's right close to lunch, and this could make some people hungry, but it is a unique color and blend. I don't know how vigorous it is or what it looks like in a straight landscape planting, but Garden Gate magazine seemed to think it's one of their winners of best new plants for 2026. Petunia Amazonas plum cockatoo, another mouthful, but it's a fascinating plant with very ruffled flowers that have a green edge and a purple on it. So that it was different. It can be grown from seed, ball seeds, but Danziger is the developer of this. It's drought tolerant. It recovers after heavy rain and wind. It has great summer performance. So this was in hot August, 90-degree heat. No, it doesn't seem as vigorous as this, but it sure is covered with blooms all over. And Garden Gate thought it was one of their best plants. Okay. A foliage plant that's also a tropical, can be used inside. It can grow in zones 8 to 12, is the Tradescantia. Well, yes, there's a lot of those on the market. This one is a new one, Pink Paradise. It can spread to 2 feet wide, and the difference with this is the variegation. It has a new variegation of pink, purple and white. And they said that was unique. Mass young plants, it rated in their top 12. And uh, it's good in combos, and it does not eat other plants as much as what Brian Weezy said. So this would be good for a combination plant or even in the ground for in the landscape, planted in the ground. I mentioned before, I love the Cora XDR, and this is where the XDR comes from, extreme disease resistant. The new one this year is Cora XDR Red Glow. They say the Cora XDR has the best Phytophthora resistance in the business. Phytophthora is a nasty little critter. It's actually a water mold. Some people like to call it a fungus, but it's technically a water mold. Anyway, it causes root rot and wreaks havoc in annuals, perennials, shrubs, and just can ruin things. But they say this one, the Cora XDR, is resistant to multiple strains of the Phytophthora. And I love all the Cora XDRs. Looks fabulous in the landscape. Excellent flower cover. And the plants are bright and perky. Vinca is a tropical plant, so it doesn't care about the heat and the humidity. From a different company, Suntory, they're making this sweet, petite, unique kind of vinca. This is just an interesting curiosity. Tiny little blooms, little stars of two-tone pink. It only is 6 to 10 inches wide, or 6 to 10 inches tall, and 12 to 18 inches wide. You can grow it from seed. It'll take probably 8 weeks, but it has outstanding summer performance and strong disease resistance to Phytophthora also. So they made this lilac dream. I guess this group was developed in Hawaii, so it can take the hot summers. And this is the Kauai hot pink. It doesn't, to me, look quite as strong. And I would probably, if I were to grow these, I would probably put them in a pot and have it up close so I could see it better because it is a tiny flowered plant. This other one made me nuts. I had to put it in at the last minute. It's by Suntory. It's Soiree. It's another Soiree, but this is Soiree Flamenco, like the dance, and they're tossing their petticoats all over. This is Flamenco Soiree, Flamenco Plum Velvet, a dark, dusky flower, kind of sultry. That's the newest one. But the Senorita Pink has been out for a couple of years, and a lot of people rave over that. I just thought you should see it. Again, I think this one could be grown from seed also. It's just interesting because it's ruffled two-tone plants. We're getting to the Z's, so it's not too far from the end. I hope you can hold on. This is Zinnia Belize Double Pink Bicolor. This photo is from Ball. I didn't get to personally see this, but it was written up in so many places. You can grow it from seed, and they're supposed to be good in raised beds at Raker, and pollinators like them. They have great color, easy to grow. This confused me a little bit. I did take this picture. I did not have a picture of the double pink. Or excuse me, I do. This is the double pink here, and it doesn't seem as good as the pictures that they sent me. This is the part that's confusing. This is another Belize, and it is pink, just plain pink. But the winner and the one that people talked about this year that's new is double bright pink or double bright rose. Okay, now I've said everything wrong. This is plain rose, and this is the double bright rose. I'm sorry to confuse you. So the double bright rose I did see, it was wonderful blooming. And just from seeing the pictures of the double pink and the double bright rose, I would probably buy the bright rose. And this is a close-up I took of it. So they look excellent, and the pollinators like them. And finishing out my plants, I do have a bonus slide after this, is the amazing Zinnia Profusion Double White. I've never seen a white zinnia look this great. It is studded with plants. You do not see the brown old dead ones like you do on so many white zinnias. And this guy is a 2026 AAS winner. They said it even won their gold medal. They say it's lush, sturdy, disease resistant, certainly is compact and tidy and full of blooms. Wow, it looked fabulous. Should I get another plant? Yes. Well, also yes, but in yellow. and it's not hoarding if it's plants. So I hope I've given you an idea of some of the annuals out there that we could enjoy in the next year or two coming up. I do have some bonus information I couldn't resist. This is from Brian Weezy's again. And this they did a whole bunch of tests on amount of watering, amount of fertilizer, and all that for growers and home gardeners. But the take home point for home gardeners is annuals do better with fertilizer. Yep. And if you have limited time and you can't put fertilizer on them, the water soluble fertilizer on them every 2, 3 weeks, then he says the best choice is to use a 5 to 6 month controlled release fertilizer as you plant them. The 3 to 4 month controlled release fertilizer I have used in the past, he explained that it's granules that are coated. And when it's a hot summer, like it has been a number of years in a row, it releases the fertilizer faster so that it runs out. And then you have struggling petunias in August. Okay, so this year I'm going to try a 5 to 6 month because I don't have time to fertilize them as much as all the companies say. He also did, these are very, very good tests he did. He ran rows of the same monoculture of different plants, one treated and one not treated. But anyway, the gist of this one is, do soil moist granules help? They're probably too expensive for a nursery to use, but they can help the home gardener in hot, dry periods, but are never a replacement for regular watering. And this is what I thought was interesting. He uses 16-inch pots, and they tried one with a rate of 1 ounce per pot. It sometimes led to reduced growth of the plant because it kept too much water. They found that using half that amount, 1/2 ounce per pot, worked better. So some nice ideas. My thanks again to all the Master Gardener volunteers over the years, especially Patty Stoffel, Jimmy Nell Duden, Phyllis Williams, Judy Fraker, Tom Ward, and many others. Your help is always appreciated, and anyone who's helped with trials. This is my family and friends after listening to one of my 4-hour plant talks. I know I ran over. I'm sorry about that, but there are too many plants to talk about. So now we can look forward to spring. And I'll have to figure out how to stop my sharing. There we go. I think I stopped it. Okay. What's up? Are there any questions?
Hey, Anne, there really isn't any questions. Most of it is just saying how exciting it is and giving ideas of other plants that they like too. I just
Okay.
think you did such a wonderful job that nobody has questions.
Well, I floored everybody. Or did I bore them? They're all asleep on the sofa now.
Oh, no, 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 no. It was awesome. Well, I want to
Okay.
thank everybody for coming to the program, and thank you, thank you, thank you to Anne for taking the time to do this for us. She always does a wonderful job, and she always makes us wait for spring. Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay. Thank you all for attending. I appreciate it.
Anne, are you still on?
Yes, I am on. I was just looking over some of the comments. How many
Okay.
plants in the pot? I don't know how many were in there, but go ahead.
This is Peg. I'll see you in a few hours. I'm still up in
Okay.
Sarasota area, so see you in
Oh,
a few hours.
super. Okay.
Bye.